podcast about?
Okay, this is making me feel really uncomfortable. Not like it.
It's like amplified
Is my mic
drama.
Okay. Well then, let's go.
And now everybody's mic is on and it's going. Sounds really good. It sounds really crispy on my end. Hey, how you guys doing? My name is John Jeremy, and this is the Quiet Coyote Podcast. Ow! Yeah, there we go. I love it when people come and they join in and do that little howl. We got, as with me as always, we got my buddy here, Angel.
What up?
Yeah, Angel. And now with us, we have our guest, we have our buddy, we have our pal. For the first time, we have Mark.
Hello, how are you?
How's it going, Mark? How you
Good,
doing?
good.
Mark, thanks so much for taking your time coming out on this rainy day and being safe and not like getting caught in a flash flood because it's really bad out there.
It is. I'm glad to be here. We've been trying to work this out, so I'm glad it's working out.
Yeah, dude. Nah, totally. Yeah, so how was the ride over here anyway? Just don't mind me asking.
It was long and it was slow. You know, there was a lot of rain, a couple of accidents because of the rain, because apparently people forget how to drive the second it starts raining out. And there was at least one major accident where someone hit a highway sign and took it out.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Better highway sign than a little child or something.
Yeah, it'd be concerning if there was small children walking around on the parkway.
I swear, you know, it's like the first hint of snow. It's like all of a sudden, like nobody knows how to drive.
Yeah.
It gets very dangerous out there. But you were talking about that sign.
I happen to work for and I need you to edit that out. You can't say who I work for.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, I work on the highway, and back in I work for the sign department.
Yeah.
So when signs like that get hit, I show up and I put out cones to like secure the area so that like no one else gets hurt and stuff.
Yeah.
And back in June, there was a rainstorm kind of like this, and the rain, someone in a Suburban kind of like hydroplane clipped a sign. The sign was partially up, partially down, so I had to go out and like drop it so it could get repaired.
Yeah.
And in the process of that, this gigantic highway sign that's probably the size of like a mini school bus, like literally fell on me and broke my back. Like
What?
Yeah. So there was like these bolts on the bottom of the one leg that was still standing. One leg was hit, one leg wasn't. The sign was connected to both. I took the second of 4 bolts out, and then all of a sudden, like in a split second,
Yeah.
is what it seemed like to me. I don't know how long it was. All of a sudden, I was on the ground with a giant sign on top of me, and my coworker's like, "Are you all right?" And like, I was conscious, but I couldn't respond. Like I was like in shock. And they like lifted the sign, and I kind of like skirted out from underneath it. And I refused to get up. They called an ambulance. This was right here, like in Brentwood on the parkway.
Oh, wow. So it was nearby.
Yeah. And
Oh, my gosh.
they took me to the hospital, and they were like, "You fractured your L4." They moved my feet. Like, they were like, "Do you feel that?" and everything like that. So I was lucky I wasn't paralyzed or dead. But like in the end, I didn't even need surgery, but I had to like wear this whole brace the entire summer.
Wow.
And it was life changing. I'm a very active person. Like I can meditate, but like when they're like, you can't do anything for like months, like that's a whole different type of like meditation right there. You know what I mean? Like, and that was it. Like I was out of work. Like I would wake up. The nice thing was like I was sleeping in, you know, it was like a vacation, but the reality is it was summer. I couldn't go to the beach. I couldn't go anywhere. I was basically home. And like, but again, like I was alive, I could walk. And the pain isn't even what it was when it first started. At somewhere back in August, I started doing physical therapy to like re-strengthen the muscles and stuff. And one of the things I did was I was doing floating, like the isolation tanks, like Joe Rogan. Yeah. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention the enemy.
Float. Yeah.
So I do that. So the boss was like, because I know the guy, he's like, I will, if you want to come every day, I will work something out with you. So like, I basically did like 120 floats in 120 days or 90 floats in 90 days, however you want to put it. Like I was there for like, you got it, yeah. So I was there for like 4 months straight. Every day I was floating, and for like an hour and a half, I was like in this like isolation tank, no lights, no sound, just floating. And the good thing is like it's anti-gravity, so like it let my back open and like all the discs heal better than if like I hadn't. And I think it had like a dramatic effect on my recovery and how fast like I healed. But like also like I'm by myself every day for like an hour and a half, and like there was times I was screaming, times I was crying. It was a lot, you know. I really had to like re-examine my life and where I was going, you know. We just lost a friend recently, and she wasn't that old, and it was like a blood clot, and like that was another eye opener. And it's like I'm 49, but like what do I want to like other than this job? Like I was staying with this job for a long time for the pension, but it's like I want to like start living before like it's not a choice anymore. Like, you know what I mean?
Before I run out of like life to live.
Yeah. You know, so it's been a lot. It's been very humbling. I mean, I'm full of gratitude. Like again, I could have been so much worse, you know, but I'm here, and I'm slowly transitioning into like I haven't even gone back to work yet. Like I'm going back to work I think in January. I see
Next month.
the doctor tomorrow, and he's gonna be like, "Well, you're done. You got to go back," and then it's a whole process to get like hired back up again. But not hired, but like reinstated and everything like that. So,
yeah.
You know, I got to do a drug test. I haven't, you know, because I've been out for so long.
So let's hope you pass that.
I hope so.
Let's
yeah.
hope.
It'd be scary if I didn't. You know what I mean?
You'd be like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Hate getting in trouble for things that I didn't do, because I'm always like, I might as well have done it.
Right. Well, I mean, I got long term sobriety too, and
How long?
16 and a half or something like that years. I originally came in 2003, like 22 years ago, and that, you know, the first 6 was chaos, but I wasn't ready back then, you know.
Yeah.
And I had to do it my way back then.
You had to get it. Yeah, you had to get everything Mark's way.
Exactly.
Mark's way of the highway.
You know, I didn't take suggestions. They were like, you know, don't do this, don't do that. One of them was like, I immediately hopped in a relationship. Some hot older woman was like, hey, you want to come home with me? And I was like, yes, please. You know what I mean? Like, what do I do with that?
Angel loves stuff that has to do with like relationships, or like whenever we mention something like sexual or something, Angel just loses it and starts laughing.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I'm not sure why, but
Sex is good. I laugh. It's fun. You should be able to laugh in bed and stuff like that. I don't know.
did we ever share in the podcast about the hotel incident?
Oh,
we
no, we never.
that? We were at a convention, and we were sharing a hotel, and I'm sleeping, and then Angel wakes me up like this. It's like, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? And Angel's just giggling like a schoolgirl, and just like, he's like, yo, he's like, some girl's in the next room getting her cheeks clapped, and and I'm like, what? And he just, you know, and I'm like, what? And then like, you have to like really listen. It was so faint, but yeah, you heard like some stuff.
Well, when you're trying to go to sleep and then all you hear is clapping from front to back.
Yo, but Angel just laughing, and I was just like, all I'm thinking is, Angel, go to bed. Like, I think you were like texting Willie or something.
Yeah, I was texting Willie. No, because I woke up to that. I'm like, no way this is happening right now. And that's when I woke you up and was like, yo, John, do you hear that? And you see it.
I gotta tell you, it is funny though. It is like kind of funny, like you said. And you know what's funny? Like I do travel a lot, so I do stay at hotels, and yeah, like I hear that more than often. It makes sense because it's hotels, right? Like that's what they're there for.
Especially at a convention, like half the people that go to conventions are just there for hookups. You know, I can remember going to conventions, and 2 of my friends had a contest. Who could
hook
sleep
up
with more women in that weekend, and like one of them had like 8 and the other one had like 10 or 12.
Hey,
could you imagine? Yeah. Like I'm like, I don't know. I'm old now, but that's impressive. You know what I mean? Like
that's pretty crazy. That's like insane. That's like an insane number. Like I just like, cause I was just amazed just by stories. Like I went to one in Connecticut, and somebody was it was a girl that I met there, but like she was getting a text from her sponsee, and her sponsee had said like or no, maybe she didn't get a text. I feel like her sponsee came up to her and like was telling her the story, and I just happened to be there, and she's like, I messed up. She goes like, you know that guy that I just met like whatever, like maybe like an hour ago, like she's like, yeah, she's like, oh, she's like, I fucked him or whatever. And it was just like I just thought it was funny. I was just like, wah, wah.
I mean, sometimes you just gotta be at the right place at the right time and say the right thing, and everything else just like unfolds, you know.
It just unfolds.
I mean,
hey, more power to whoever. You know, I don't. Everyone's thing is their thing. If that's what they do, like just what I did.
I feel like conventions are like the wildest. Like the wildest time of my sobriety was during conventions. Like that the whole weekend. Like I've never consumed so many energy drinks at one time. Like it's crazy.
You're wired on caffeine.
Yeah.
You're with a bunch of other young people that, you know, are staying sober, and like so everyone's either playing like Mafia, sitting in some marathon meeting at like 3 a.m. going, well, I'm in this meeting,
Or dancing.
or they're dancing, or they're upstairs, you know, horizontal mambo type dancing and stuff.
Hey
you know?
yo.
Yeah, you gotta.
You know what it is too, because I feel like I'm glad that we can talk about this openly, because like I feel like that is not unsaid stuff, but stuff that like we all know that kind of happens, and then we kind of hide behind like this whole, like, at least for me, I felt like it was people saying like, no, this is like all about recovery, this is all about getting better, all about helping. I'm like, yeah, that's like the daytime like face. And then like we're talking about like the nighttime phase, where it's like drinking energy drinks, staying up all night, you know, playing all those games, but then also like there's hooking up involved all over, which I didn't get involved. I'll be honest, I didn't get involved with that most of many years because I didn't know. Like I think I was just very ignorant to it, or I had a girlfriend. Maybe I had a girlfriend and was bringing my girlfriend, so I didn't really know that was happening. Because I think every time I went, I must have had a girlfriend. Because I remember having girlfriends.
Because I was gonna say, John, like,
yeah,
I've always known you in early recovery. You almost always had
a girlfriend.
Yeah.
I always had a girlfriend though. I had like I tell the story a lot. I had like 8. I want to say maybe I was in 8 relationships in 5 years. You know, and so like I think maybe that's why I never like saw the conventions that way, because I was already like wifed up with someone, you know. Maybe if I wasn't, I think I did hook up maybe twice, and that was later. That was like around my 10th year, 9th, maybe my 10th year. I think that happened to me the first time it happened. Can you imagine going 10 years to conventions and the first time like it happening?
No.
Yeah, dude. No.
I mean, it's not my story, so yeah.
I was there the first time.
What?
I think I was there.
Oh yeah.
I think so. Yeah, my first convention.
Yeah, Angel was just like, I think you guys were like, where's John?
Literally, like the whole weekend was like, yo, where the hell is John at?
That's the ongoing joke.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Nowadays, like you said, it kind of grows and it kind of changes. It gets different. But I don't have any wild convention stories, unless I have to think about it. Do you have any stories or anything wild stories? Not even with that, just in general. Like I think before I got into recovery, when I was drinking, I remember waking up. I woke up like hungover. No, I was still, you know, when you're kind of still drunk a little bit.
Yeah.
Woke up, took like 2 trains to get to 2 buses that took me to like a ferry that took me across to like Connecticut to like meet a girl that I met like online. Like that's
in early recovery. I didn't have a car, and my mom took me to a meeting that wasn't that. It was like right in my neighborhood, you know, but just like a little bit too far to walk. And she dropped me off, and then like afterwards I needed a ride, so I asked this one chick, and she's like, yeah, but we're gonna go to the diner afterwards. Is that cool too? I was like, I mean, sure. I don't have any money though. She's like, no, don't worry about it. And then like we went to the diner. She ended up like buying me like some food or whatever, which was cool. And then afterwards, she's like, I don't want to be stuck without any money. Do you mind coming with me to stop at the bank to grab some cash? And I was like, okay, sure, as long as I get home tonight. And then after she gets the money, she's like, I took out a little bit too much, and I feel uncomfortable with having this much money on. My house is right around the corner. I'm gonna go drop it off, okay? I said, sure, yeah, whatever, as long as you get me home tonight. So then she goes, well, you're not going to sit in the car in the parking lot while I go upstairs, are you? I go, no, of course not. That would be rude. Like, let me come upstairs as long as you get me home tonight. You know. So then I'm sitting in her apartment watching TV, and it's like one big open floor plan.
Yeah.
And she goes, you know, it's a lot more comfortable from the bed. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, like, what? She's like, we're not having sex. I go, whatever, as long as you get me home tonight, you know. And
Yeah. Like, I gotta be. All you're thinking about is home and her. Like that.
Her mindset is something completely different.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know,
I'm gonna get in trouble with my mom, bro.
well, again, she had no trust in me at that point in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, like 10 minutes later, we're having sex, and like 15 minutes after that, we're like doing it, and like, you know what I mean? And like,
See, you see that? You see? I was waiting for that to happen. You mentioned stuff like that. Angel is like an 8th grader. Go ahead, keep going.
it's all good.
Keep going.
And that turned into like a 6-month hostage negotiation. Like she had like 3 or 4 years, and I had like 3 or 4 days, and like this woman was like, she didn't smoke, but she was letting me smoke as long as I blew it out the window. And then like after like 6 months of like this relationship where basically like this older woman was like basically 13 stepping me, which I did not mind at all, like kept me going to meetings and everything.
Right.
I accidentally broke her chair. She called my name too quickly, and I spun around in the chair while I was smoking a cigarette, and the leg broke.
Yeah.
And then she got pissed off, and then you know, I left, and I still didn't have a car at that point. So I'm in Freeport, and I live in Massapequa, so I walked across the street from her house to the train station, took the train home, and like walked home. And that was like the first like real relationship I had in recovery and for a long time. Because like before that, like I don't know about anyone else, but when I was very active, like the high was more important than anything. So like you know, I remember in early relationships, like I was like, are we gonna do anything tonight? And they're like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna like, you know, do some cocaine and like some alcohol and like get my buzz on, because that's what I want to do if we're not having sex. And but I wouldn't say that, and I would bounce. And then eventually it was like, I'm not even like factoring that part in. Like all I want is the drugs.
Yeah.
And you know, I couldn't take care of myself at all. Like, you know, there was like days, months would go by, I wouldn't shower, could barely keep a job. And I really needed recovery when I came in. And then this woman, like, that tells you her mindset though. Like I got like 3 days, and that's how I was living like right up until then. She's like, come home with me, have sex with me, put it in my and I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get on the left. But my early recovery was very much like that. Like I'm kind of fortunate. Like I had a lot of relationships and a lot of sex, to the point where at one point, like I never took that like 1 year of no relationships to like get to know yourself. And then after about 6 years, like when I was around 33, someone was like, you might need to go get yourself checked to make sure you don't have anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like that was like a wake up call, you know what I mean? Because at that point I was like going to clubs and stuff like that. I was going to specifically like BDSM parlors and stuff like that. Where there was like active sex was like the main event type of thing. And because before that I was younger, like I said, I couldn't leave the house. So now I'm like, there's a whole world that's opening to me. And I'm like, oh, that's a thing? Like, sign me up, you know? And then you go, and you're like, this is great. I'll come back next week. And I did. So anyway, after that, like, I finally, like, took that suggestion. And, you know, it's funny. Up until then, like, I would relapse all the time. Like, at one point, I had almost 2 years, and I relapsed, you know? And there was, like, 6 months where every day I was coming back and everything like that. And then, you know, I stayed abstinent for a year. And then that's like where I'm at now. This is 16 and a half years later from actually practicing that one little suggestion that they give you like day one, like don't get in a relationship. And I'm like, that, you know what I mean? Like,
and did you feel like the relationship helped you to stay abstinent, you're saying? Or what do you feel?
I was in no relationship with other than myself.
Oh, okay.
Back at that point, like, a lot of women wanted to get married. I was like, I'm not ready for that. Like I was like literally sowing my royal oats or whatever. And then,
oh yeah, you don't want that, right? I'm looking at Angel on there, sowing the royal oats. Go ahead.
Hooking up whenever I could, you know what I mean? And hey, I was very much into experimenting, very much into exploring what was out there. You know, I'd try everything once, probably twice, and if I didn't like it, maybe a third time, and then crying shame about how
Crying
I
shame.
felt myself. But no, time went on, and then I also grew up. You know what I mean? And then I was like, let me do this. And when I actually sat down and did it, because I was like, look, like I don't want to die. You know what I mean? Like I was on the brink of death for years in active recovery. I came in here. The one thing it definitely gave me was a life, and like why lose it because I want to have sex? You know what I mean? Like that doesn't.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like that was a real awakener. They were like, you need to get tested because I'm HIV positive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'll tell you,
Yeah.
the circle of people I hung out with when I was in active addiction was maybe 20 people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I came in these rooms, like before then, I didn't know gay people. I didn't know, like race wise, like I was like one of the only white people in my crew.
Yeah.
But like outside of that bubble, like that was my whole life. And then all of a sudden, like I was meeting like
Every type of person.
every type of person imaginable. You know what I mean? Like from all over. You know what I mean? There was no, like, if you went to the diner and saw us sitting after a meeting, you'd be like, what is the common thread here? You know what I mean? Because you'd have a guy in a suit, then you'd have a dude with a mohawk, you know what I mean? You'd have a...
Yo, that's really true because when I was out there and I was active, like my crews were diverse, but they were diverse separately. Like, you know, when I would go to Huntington, I had a whole Haitian crew that I would just hang out with them, and they were all Haitian people. And then like in Brentwood was all like the Latin people that my friends, you know, like, you know, all my friends. And then like, you know, then I would have like my islip friends, you know, like my white friends, and it tended to segregate themselves naturally. And like I kind of like would jump around to like, oh, I'm hanging out with my Huntington crew, I'm gonna go with my Brentwood crew, I'm gonna hang out with my islip crew. So like I had the crews, but never like they weren't mixed in like today, where it's kind of like even us sitting here, like you know, all three of us being so different. And I said that today on a Zoom meeting. I said we're usually a group of people that doesn't mix, like it says in our literature. It's usually a bunch of people that doesn't mix. And I think that it's cool how like you jumped from the story of like how we were talking about sex and coming in and like all this, like you said, 13 stepping, and then now you like how you grew from that. And now like it's cool because you were saying like, nah, I needed to get sober, and you're like the sex stuff had to, and like I don't know about you guys, I didn't come in myself, like I didn't come in like this like gleaming ball of like, you know, purity that came in, like, you know what I mean? Like,
who does that?
don't get me wrong, there's plenty of friends that didn't fall like I did. Like I was homeless. I know Jamie comes in the show, she shares a lot that she was like, you know, didn't have to be homeless. She was in college, she like was a professional. I have plenty of professional friends that never was homeless like me, that was never like, you know, smoking cocaine out of a glass pipe at 3 a.m. behind Chase Bank, you know, with their, you know, like there was plenty of people that wasn't like going to the trap house, you know. But then I have friends that do. So that's the diversity that I like as well, that like no matter where we were, we still hit like certain bottoms of like, damn, man, like I don't glorify it, but that's my story too, you know, like that's totally my story. I had a girl, she had like 7 years at the time. I had like a couple of months, and she came over, and she ended up moving, but like she like, I guess she knew she was moving. No, she knew she was moving. Sorry. She knew she was leaving, and like she came over, and like we ended up hooking up. I didn't know that was going to happen. And I remember yeah, so I had that experience, and you know, I've done it myself too, so I don't want to like put out there that like this girl did that to me, but she didn't do anything to me. I was a participant. But what I'm saying is that like when I did ask the other girls, when I told the other girls about that, I said, hey, I was like, did she 13 step me? And they said no, because I was a guy or something like that. And it was like, I guess maybe the people I was asking at that time, maybe they didn't see it that way, but like I felt like it was so double standardy, and I was like, wait a minute, all right. I said, and I was like, oh, okay, like I didn't know any better, but looking back now, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't think that's very accurate. But either way, I think just like she was in her place, she did what she did because of her things, and me too, like, because I did it too.
So someone
other people
in my early recovery told me that their definition of 13 stepping is when someone with time who knows better
Yeah.
takes advantage of someone else's naivete, you know, like I don't know anything, you know what I mean, type of thing.
Yeah.
And they, whether they're older or younger, it just happens more often than not that it's an older person doing it to a younger person. It happens more often than not that it's a dude doing it to a female.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
like,
for sure. Yeah,
but
yeah.
if I'm like, I need my house painted and I got a new sponsee and I'm like, oh, you're doing anything to you got to do whatever you got to do to stay sober, right? And you're like, yeah, whatever you tell me, I'm going to do. I'm like, good, you paint my house. That's technically, that's 13 stepping because you don't know
Taking
enough
advantage.
to, yeah, you're taking advantage. That's really what it comes down to.
I never even thought about that.
That's how it was explained to me. You know what I mean? And again, like,
Wow.
like that first woman, that story. I mean, it's a funny story. You know, it's an anecdote in retrospect. But I'm not saying that she took advantage, but she did. You know what I mean? I was not in a position to say no. Like I hadn't had a lot of human contact. I hadn't been in a relationship. No one really showed me like affection or appreciation before that in a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I went into rehab, like a girl came skipping by and she gave me she goes, "Are you new?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she gave me a big hug. And that was the first time someone hugged me besides like my mom in like a decade. You know what I mean? So like, I'm not saying that she was like this sparkling like example of like mental health, right? But she was definitely, with a couple years sober, she was in a better place than I was, and she had 12 years on me. So she knew a little bit more about what was going on than I did, and I mean, she was a good-looking woman, and she was into me. So I was like,
I was about to say, like, at that time, you probably thought, like, your mindset is just, like, this is cool.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
all it is. Like, this is cool. Because, like, the same thing with me. I was just like, whoa, like, I was really attracted to her. And, like, I didn't know this was going to happen. And I'll be honest, I don't know if she knew it was going to happen just because, like, I didn't.
But she was probably willing.
Yeah, like I said, like, she had 7 years. I had, like, a couple months. So, like.
That's another thing, too.
know.
When you come around for a while, like, people get to know you. And you know people, so it's like there's definitely people in the rooms that are not gonna with me just because I'm me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever in their mindset. You know what I mean? But the exact reasons they have for not messing with me, there's another person out there that wants to mess with me for those exact same reasons.
Yeah. No, for sure. I feel like I've been saying this. The healthier I'm getting, the less dates I'm getting, and I'm not sure if it's me. If it's me, like I was telling Angel, right? I said I had to turn people down. I'm still turning people down. I was thinking, I'm sitting here like lonely. I'm like, oh man, like I'm single. Like it's unfair. How come that person's in a relationship? I start comparing, but then I just realized like. I'm still real. I realize almost all the time. It's like, oh, John, like I look at my thing, like you're actually turning people down. Like people are actually coming at you and you're just kind of like, no. And like, you know, it's not a really hard thing. It's just my life of just like, you know, how I'm navigating it. I want to be different. You know?
I can remember at one point.
Or than I am.
I liked this one girl. She was a little younger than me. She had less time than me. And as she got healthier-ish, she would always go after the newcomer guys. And then I started noticing a pattern that a lot of these girls who had some time, they stopped going after the guys with time and they started going after newcomers. And I was like, what do I got to like relapse just to get laid now? You know? And
I'm like to that conclusion.
Yeah. And then, so like, look, the same thing that works with one person isn't going to necessarily work with another person.
Yeah.
That's why like I have to be who I am. You know what I mean? Whatever I present has to be sustainable. If I'm picking you up in a rented car to take you to like Blackstone for like $1,000 like dinner, like that's cool. But like, am I going to be able to continue to I don't make that kind of money. You know what I mean? So however I represent myself has to be sustainable. I have to continue to do that. So instead of like people pleasing, I have to be me, and the people that are attracted to me are going to be attracted to me. And I also don't like, online dating is crazy, but like, I mean, I remember going, I'll never date someone from the rooms. And then like, I go out there and I realize that people who are not in recovery, they don't always have a moral compass. You know what I mean? They don't always want the same things. I've been turned down by people because they're like, you don't drink? I'm like, no. They're like, oh, I can't date someone that doesn't drink. I'm like, well, that's probably for the best that we're not seeing each other, because if you can't date me because I don't drink, that tells me that you have a drinking problem. And sometimes I end up seeing them in the rooms a couple years later. That's happened at least twice.
Yeah, that's funny because you're like, I actually met a person, that like ended up being in the rooms, and I didn't like I didn't expect it. It's still a surprise to me, but then it's not like such a surprise. 'Cause, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Well, there's also we just like find each other. Like there's been plenty of times where I've matched with people, and then we find out that they're also in recovery. And it's
Yeah.
like, you know.
That's what kind of sucks when like you know, that happened to me a few times matching with people, and then I find out like they're like, I'm getting sober too, and I'm like really, I'm like, huh? They're like 3 months. I'm like, oh man, I'm like, you know,
Yeah, you don't want to step on that.
man.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, yeah, and you know what? I think I like talking about this. At least this is like our podcast where we get to talk about openly and honestly about like how our actual experiences are versus like, you know, what people feel they can talk about, saying like, you know, oh, like, you know, what is like 13 stepping, what is proper relationships, like being honest about ourselves, like seeing that what our motives are. Like today I'm like more open and aware that I could say, you know what, I don't really like that person like that. I just kind of want to have sex with them. Like I'm attracted to this person, but not enough. Like, you know, and then I get tempted to like, maybe I could just have sex with them. And again, everyone's different. So for myself, how I roll now, it's kind of like, it's a little difficult because I still have to be like, for my, like you said, moral compass of my own. Everyone has a different compass that takes them different places.
Somebody told me once.
I'd be like, not working for me right now. I don't want to do that.
They said, if I like someone, I'll wait.
Yes.
And if I still like that person a month from now, okay. 2 months from now, like, you know what I mean? Because there's people where
3
like,
months, you get married now.
well, there's people that like I literally just want to but is it them or is it I'm just horny? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if I go out and like go home and rub one out and all of a sudden like I get that post-cum clarity and I'm like, oh, it really had nothing to do with them. It was the fact that I was horny and they were available and like that could have turned into a pregnancy or who knows what that could have turned into. You know what I mean? A 2 month hostage negotiation, whatever it is. You know what I mean? The fact of the matter is like, if I give myself time, if they're not willing to wait either, then I guess they're not the one. You know what I mean? That attraction's not there. You know who told me that?
Who?
You.
Me?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Man, I don't remember that.
That was some wisdom you dropped on me. That one stuck with me because, again, a lot of times that's like, even like when I was on the street, people don't wait. Like we want that instant gratification.
Yeah.
And if like you don't give yourself like so much violence happens, so much tragedy in the world happens because we don't give ourselves enough time to like breathe and like see if that's really what we want. It's real easy to throw hands, but you can't take those back. It's real easy to knock someone up, but I mean, well, whatever you can, I guess. But you know what I mean. But like all those things have consequences. Where sometimes all you need to do is give yourself like a moment to think about it and see if you really want it. If that's really what it is, or if it's something else. You know what I mean? Like, are we only fighting because I'm hungry? You know what I mean? Are we only having sex because I'm horny? Like,
or like people I mean, I've seen it from my own experience with some like my female friends that they just wanted to get married and they rushed into a marriage and then it seems not to be working. It's like it doesn't have to actually be sex to get me into a situation like that. It could be like I want to be married because I'm too late or I need children now or whatever the case is, and then. And you said, now I have to pay the consequences for what I want.
And not for nothing.
Yeah.
It's the system is
or
stacked.
Guys too. Guys do that too.
They do.
Yeah.
But the system's more stacked for a woman because technically she could sue me and have half of everything I got, and I got nothing. But you know what I mean. But the fact of the matter is,
you're like sue me.
I mean, I have something, you know, and I'm
half
looking
of nothing.
Nothing. but no, but you're right though, because all of a sudden you're in a relationship now.
Yeah.
That's real life consequences. Like your guys' names are on paper together, so everything you have now is together. And then like, I mean, I've seen relationships that last like a week. You know, I've seen relationships where the couple was together, not married. They were together for like 3 years.
Yes.
They go on their first like long distance like vacation, like they went down to Florida for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Immediately broken up as soon as they come back because they never actually lived together like around the clock for like more than like a night or something like that or a weekend. All of a sudden they're like, you're seeing the real them and they're like, get me the f- out of here. You know what I mean? Like I took an ex on a cruise.
Yeah.
When we got back, she broke up with me.
Yeah, that's foul.
You know what I mean? And she's like, you kidnapped me. I'm like, and all my friends were like, I wish you'd kidnap me because I took her on a cruise we did everything we did was based around what she wanted to do. Because I was like, whatever, I'm laid back. Like if that's what you're gonna do, let's do it. Like her birthday was during the thing. That's why we went, and I took her to a French restaurant. I don't eat French food.
I can't remember the exact situation, but I feel like I've been in that situation. I did something for somebody like that to that effect, and then they turned around and like threw it in my face, and I just felt so like hurt by that. Like wait, like I really didn't have bad motives. Like I thought that's like what you wanted, this thing or whatever. I can't remember what it was, but feeling like that exact feeling of like I took you on a cruise and then you break up with me the next day type of thing. Like it's just like I feel used. I feel like
that one hurt a lot.
Yeah,
I didn't date again. I couldn't date for like 6 months, and then when I first started dating, it was a lot of like first dates, meet for food, and then like nothing came of it. And it took me like a long time to like trust someone again, to be willing to like open myself up like that.
I think a lot of relationships end up like that. Do you think that now that we're talking about relationships and like in the rooms and like in recovery, at least for me, like talking to the people out there, I would suggest like even if you're new or seasoned, like if you feel like you have relationship issues, there's like plenty of places to get help. Like continue looking for that help, because I got help. I'm getting help now, and like I see like the errors of my ways and like my compulsion issues and my misconceptions of what I think love is for me and what's acceptable and not acceptable. And at the end of the day, like I was telling Angel in the car today, I said like, right? Didn't I tell you in the car today? I said that like I could take advantage of these people that like throw themselves at me. But the thing is that like the sex is so fleeting, like you said, post-nut clarity. Like after that, I said no, like I actually now I'm like seeking and craving that like sustain, like love first and then sex. Like the sex comes and goes. If you want, like you said, go in the bathroom and just be like,
sex gets better the longer the better you know each other and the more intimate you are, and intimacy comes from
when you love the
being able to
care about them.
like to reveal yourself. You know what I mean? Like everyone has walls. Everyone wears masks, no matter what. So like the more you trust someone, the more like you feel safe and comfortable with them, the man and the woman, or whatever your relationship is. When you're more comfortable with each other, you're more willing to cater to each other and to express what you want, and then you're going to enjoy it more. You know what I mean? We live in a world where
for sure.
Relationships are disposable. You know what I mean? Like everyone wants to be in a relationship, but then like they're not willing to like stay in a relationship, and they'll throw it away immediately just to start over again. Like,
it takes work.
Yeah,
it takes dedication. It takes actual conscious like dedicated thought, right?
If you look at the old school mentality, like sometimes like arranged marriages ended up being the best marriage. Like I don't know this person, blah 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 blah, but they stayed together and they worked and they built a love, and they like it's like a fire. You know what I mean? They got it going out of almost nothing, and then they turned it into this roaring thing that kept the whole family warm. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying like arranged marriage is the way to go, but like if you can't give someone else a shot, you're not giving yourself a shot. Like you don't like, you know what I mean? If I can't get past that first stage in Mario, I don't know how, level 3 or 10 or whatever it is. Like I gotta
do you think like relationship issues are harder to see than like addiction issues, or like maybe like harder for even people to see because it's like more like when if I see you drunk every day, it's a lot harder than if I don't know if you're on the dating apps every day. I don't know if you're like and even if that's an issue for you or not. Like you know what I'm saying? Like being able to see, how do I know when it's like an issue? Like how do I know if I'm like I'm feeling like maybe I should take a break from this, and then realizing maybe I can't, or maybe like how I'm handling these things is not like what I would consider the best way.
I don't know that there's any cookie cutter answer. I think every person is different, and every person is going to be perceived by someone else differently.
Yeah.
And what I could see as a problem, someone else might not.
Right. Just like our drinking.
Right. And I can tell you, like it's really easy to deny that I have a drug problem or an alcohol problem. But when my use is affecting other people's lives, then it's like, eventually you get that wake up call, like, bro, you need to stop. Like someone's gonna give you an intervention eventually, or you're gonna get fired from multiple jobs or broken up with repeatedly. And if you don't want to face that, that's on you. Relationship issues, I think, are a much trickier situation. Like, society is bombarded with these like preconceived notions of what should and shouldn't be. Like everyone should be hot and sexy, and like it's not until like recent times where like that cookie cutter isn't the same thing anymore because there's too many people in the world. There's too many variations. And like all people should be considered beautiful. You know what I mean? Not everyone considers themselves beautiful or treats themselves like they're beautiful, but like society projects this like image of romance, and it's like you gotta like get married and go see the Eiffel Tower, and like it's like fed into us from Disney kids,
from like outside in.
Yeah, from
This
a real
is
early
romantic.
age.
So if I do this, it's romantic instead of like romance coming from authenticity of like, instead of like an act of like a candlelit dinner isn't necessarily romantic, but you saying like the world may paint it as romantic versus like what is a true gesture of romance? Like
The
what
two
is
people
it?
having that candlelit dinner could be just had a huge fight, and whatever, and like they
or
could
it's,
hate
like,
each
fake.
other.
It's
Yeah,
not even
exactly.
real. It's just like to manipulate.
I think too many people get into relationships too early, and a lot of times they don't know themselves. And I think in general, people don't nowadays. A lot of people don't know who they are, and it's really hard to be my authentic self if I don't know who I am. I think getting into a relationship is a good idea, but I think going slow, especially like the younger, like when I was younger. It was a big thing. We went to Adventureland, you know what I mean? And like it was romantic. We were like holding hands. Like I can't really remember the last time like I held hands with a woman. Like, and that's like a super intimate thing. You know what I mean? Like it's like but it's those small things that like for me make the difference. You know what I mean? Like what I would like to be able to. I don't know how feasible it is, but I would like to be able to approach a woman and have like that high school type of romance without
Maybe
the
how
high
you
school
felt back in high school.
how we took it, like the speed that we took it at, you know what I mean? And how much it was, because there was so much curiosity, because like I hadn't been burnt by my friends ragging on the chick I was with, or I didn't get my heart broken, like, with the one at the cruise or whatever. Like I didn't have all these things that I'm like trying to avoid. Like I was literally clueless. And sometimes that cluelessness offers more wonder, and that wonder makes it more special because you don't know. And I think,
I know.
not knowing is, because it's not that we don't know. It's like we just assume, oh, this one's going to be like that, or this is what happened last time. And like that person isn't that other person. You know what I mean? Like I was saying, like someone likes me for the exact same reason someone else doesn't like me. You know what I mean? So like it's when those two people meet that and everything clicks, and you give each other the time to like express themselves. You know what I mean? Like the best thing I can do for you is work on myself, and the best thing you can do for me is work on yourself. And like if we can get there and stay there and not let all the preconceived notions or all the past mistakes that we made like skew our relationship, then maybe it'll stand a chance, I guess.
No, it definitely, no, that totally makes sense. And I feel like, us, being able to, like you said, work on ourselves. I tend to, like every relationship I was in, when I kept working on myself, I know I was feeling better and acting better towards the other person. And like, even though none of that, didn't eventually work out, I definitely can see like wanting to have, like I definitely got jaded throughout the years, without a doubt, like with all the relationships I had, like, and kept trudging on and trying to say, like you said, like, I was like, dude, John, never treat the next person because of what the last person did. Like if the last person cheated on you, like don't you ever take the next person, and that has nothing to do with them. Like Susie has nothing to do with Sally, type of thing. Like,
it's not fair to them, and then you end up cheating
them.
Yourself because you're not giving them the opportunity to be there for you.
Yeah, no, for sure. I really like this episode that we've just taken care of, because it really talks about relationships and like our honesty of like what happened to us, and like also like the growth of like within, like how did we end up, going, like, all these things happening to people like in recovery, where it's like we went full circle of like they make suggestions in recovery, and again, it's not like for everybody, but like it kind of like helps a majority of people of like, oh, if you are coming into like recovery for drugs and alcohol, maybe it's a good idea to not jump into a relationship, and if you are like, to be mindful of like sticking with like what's bettering yourself. And that way, like if I'm bettering myself, everything will fall into place naturally. And some people don't. I've seen it personally where people don't because they're afraid they're gonna lose that person, and that's where it kind of, that's the sick part for me. It's like, you know, if it's like I'm not gonna continue to like go to meetings and help out because because my girlfriend or boyfriend is getting upset with me, I think that's a perfect sign of like now you're at a crossroads, and it's like it's your choice. You know, I would highly recommend, if somebody really loves me, and if I really love somebody, I want them to continue to get better, you know. And the same thing with me. If they really love me, I think they're gonna want me to continue to get better. And I don't think there's anything healthy about seeing a sick person not get the help they need. It's kind of like if I see somebody with cancer and I'm like, no, if you keep going for that chemotherapy and not spending time with me, like I'm not gonna be with you. It's like, you know, that would be crazy. That would be plain crazy.
I mean, especially with the COVID, I've seen it go, like, as long as I know my intentions are correct, you know what I mean, and I'm trying to stay healthy, you know what I mean, like, I've been in relationships where they relapse and people are like, oh, now you're enabling them. And I'm like, if you care about someone, you don't just like dead them because they relapsed. You know what I mean?
And
but
you were in the relationship.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, oh, they relapsed. Like now is the time to hop on it. You know what I mean?
That's what happened to me. Somebody I was seeing, they relapsed, and then I was like feeling awkward because I was like, do I leave them now? Do I abandon them? I don't know what to do. You know, I'm talking to people about it. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Do I let them get better, or like I don't know. Like I was with them this entire time, and then they end up relapsing, and like now I'm like, you know. So I decided to stick with them, you know. And then it just got worse and worse, and they had to like go to, you know, I think they're okay now, but like at that time they had to go where they needed to go, and I was like, for me, there's like sometimes there's roads that like, if I see there's a road that I can't go down with, I've told people, I said, I literally had relationships where I said, look, you know, they didn't like relapse. It had nothing to do with relapse. It's just like I seen them having to go down a road that I can't go. And I told people like, hey, you're going down a road I can't follow you. And I told them, I said, I love you, but you're going down this road that
I've seen people not get into relationships because one of the two of them knew like, oh, I'm moving like in a year. It's like, that's a year away. You know what I mean? Enjoy the year. Don't not have a relationship because you know that's going to happen. It could change. I could turn around and move with them or whatever. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I feel like it's better to have the relationship to try and see what happens than to avoid it completely because you're afraid of basically, because at that point you're afraid you're going to fall in love and then you're going to, you know, jeopardize your goals. And that's another thing though. Like I think that if you have a goal, you should follow it. You know what I mean? Look, I think that people need to do what's best for them as long as it's healthy, you know what I mean? And sustainable, you know, and there's nothing wrong with living in the moment. You know, I think the best thing we could do is live in the moment. You know, if you're living in the past, that's where your depression comes from. And if you're living in the future, that's where your anxiety comes from. You got to live in the now. That's where, you know, it's a present. This is the present, you know what I mean? And to enjoy it to the fullest, you know.
Like that's sorry.
No, go.
No, like, that's like some of the best advice someone gave me when I first got sober. Like just live in the now, like live in the moment, like live your life. Like you're gonna like regret it you're gonna regret it that you didn't do that one thing. So just have fun, do your thing, like
be free. If you're not drinking and on the side of the road drunk, you have an opportunity to live more open.
If your motives are genuine, what's the worst that can happen by living in the moment?
That's true.
You have a good time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, unless you're out there with malicious intent, and that's a whole other thing. Like law of attraction. Like I don't think people that are looking for that aren't looking for me, type of thing. You know what I mean? So if I have the best intention, I'm gonna enjoy the day, and I hope to enjoy it with cool people like you guys, or whatever, or some hot smoke piece or whatever. But enjoying life, you know what I mean, in the moment. You know what I mean, doing things in the moment and doing them because we can, because it's fun, because it's healthy, because it's a good time. You know what I mean? It's a lot better than being stuck in the trap house smoking crack. I'll tell you that. True.
I mean, no, we're definitely in a good position to be talking about what we're talking about because we're not sick and like chilling somewhere. This would never happen if we were like addicted, heavily
we'd be
addicted.
Talking about it, but never doing it.
Talking about it, but never doing it. But I want to end with more saying like, you said it the best. Do what's best for you, and like I would say like, and if you don't know what's best for you, that's when you can ask for help. Like because sometimes I don't know what's best for me, and maybe it's good that I need to ask people like, hey, I have this situation. And like I want some ears on it and thoughts, and then like get those thoughts. And at the end of the day, like I tell Angel, I said, Angel, you're a grown person. You're gonna do whatever you want, just like me. I'm a grown person.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, at the end of the day, like Mark, no matter what we say to you, if we give you the best advice in the world, if you have your heart set on doing something, you're gonna do it, regardless of what we say. So like, I think that advice that you gave to us is like, do what's best for you, and if you don't know, ask for some help of like getting some clarity. And that could be whatever it is, higher power and a community and sponsorship and your support group, like all of it. Just ask anybody and then see what feels right for you. I think when I shared with people, Matt told me that when he says he heard me have a problem once, and he said, hey, I have a suggestion. He goes, go and share it at a meeting and and ask for suggestions. He goes, and then after the meeting, people will come and talk to you. He goes, 90% of the feedback you get might be crap. He goes, but it's worth going through 99% of crap if you get that one jewel.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? Like, it's wrong. Matt, like if Mark, you told me a situation, I'm like, Mark, you know what you got to do? You got to leave that chick right away. And you hearing it and you're like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Meanwhile, you're banging her a week later after I left.
Right. And like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if people are telling you and you know in your heart that this sounds kind of garbagey, like whatever, like trash, like, and then, but like, when you hear like, ooh, like, no, like what Paul said is what is the answer for me right now. So.
I mean, I've asked people their advice knowing that they're not the person to ask for that advice, just to hear what that sounds like, and be able to do the opposite. I have. I mean, it is what it is.
That's actually a good method. You just dropped a good method of recovery.
Because, like you said, everyone's gonna come to you and start talking to you, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's got an opinion. If I know that one's not good in relationships and this one is, when I hear that, I mean, unless their advice is exactly the same thing, then like I really need to like.
Then you gotta ask more. You gotta get more consensus.
But they're, you know what I mean? I'm gonna be like, that seems like a good idea, and that seems like exactly what I should avoid. Yeah. But like you said, we're adults. That was something that one of my sponsors told me too. You're an adult. Mm-hmm. You have your own hands. You got your own feet. You got your own head, your own heart. Stand the fuck up. Walk the fuck out if that's what you got to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As an adult,
you're not a tree. You're not planted. You can move.
I can use the steps.
Oh, with that being said, let's end this. Thank you so much, Mark. Let's get you back on here and talk more about stuff. Like, this is so awesome. I didn't know what we were going to talk about, but we ended up here, and it's so great. So usually we end with like a word of affirmation or something. I'll start with Angel. Boom.
I want to say this. Live your life. Go dance. Go party. Just live in the moment. Yeah.
Live in the moment.
Yeah.
Boom. I'm gonna steal from Mark. I'm gonna say you're beautiful. Boom. How about you? You have anything?
Be good to the planet.
Ooh.
Mama Earth, baby.
Mama Earth.
Pasha Mama.
Yo. All right, y'all. Thank you very much for tuning in. Until the next time, we'll see you out. Peace.
So what's your podcast about?
Okay, this is making me feel really uncomfortable. Not like it. Is my mic on? Okay. Well then, let's go.
Hey, everyone, look here. Quiet coyote. Quiet coyote.